Alright guys, welcome back to Schmattz Outdoors. I just got a quick little video for you today. Kind of a season preview, but more of a season goals kind of video. The season is going to actually start here next weekend for land animals in Minnesota. And then the following weekend it's water animals in the area I trap. I'm not actually going to start next weekend. I'm going to wait till like Thursday of the following week. So I got about 10 days to try and get ready. I am not anywhere as close to as ready as I'd like to be. I had quite a bit of stuff that I wanted to get done and prepared for the season that some of it just isn't going to happen. Particular, I wanted to build some muskrat floats in the off season. I have a decent design in mind. I have kind of a template started for routering. I'm going to router the profile of my trap into my floats so my trap won't be able to knock off essentially, or just, the muskrat won't be able to pull my trap off. When they climb up on it, my trap will be kind of recessed into my board, and then when it goes off, they should fall off into the water. So I have the design pretty well figured out. I don't think I have one weekend left to try and get some stuff done. Get traps ready, prepped, all that stuff. I just don't think I'll be able to get any floats done. If I do, it might be like a couple prototype ones. And yeah, like I said, it might be just a couple of them. With that kind of said, we're going to kind of get into my goals. I have my sheet here like I've done other years, that has all the animals on there. Sorry, it's backwards for you guys. I'm not going to go animal by animal this year like I did last year. I'm going to kind of briefly touch on a few of them and just kind of tell you kind of what my goals are for the season here. And I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to go into particulars of how many of each species I necessarily want to catch. But yeah, like I said, a quick little video here, just kind of my goals for the season. Number one thing for me is I'm going to try and catch some mink this year. I know they're not worth nothing. Like I caught 6 last year and average is like $2 a piece put up for them. So I'm not going to make a fortune catching mink. My kind of thinking is, one, I've never really focused on trapping mink. I've done a fair amount of research in the off season. I'm going to try and put in some pocket sets. I bought some number 11 traps. I'm going to put them on some sliding wires. I have a few spots in mind where I can actually put a pocket set in around some of the sloughs and stuff. It's not going to be a lot of them. I mean, it's not going to be 50 pocket sets. I bought 8 traps. I'll be happy if I get 5 of those set out. And then I'm going to obviously be putting some mink boxes out and that type of stuff as well. I actually have it up here in my house. I have a chunk of beaver meat that I cut off of a beaver I caught this spring in the nuisance beaver trapping video. I also have some carp that I shot with my bow 2 springs ago with the idea that I was going to smoke them because I like to eat smoked carp. I never got around to smoking this batch of them, so I'm going to unthaw some of them, and I'm going to cube them up into like 1/4-inch cubes, both the beaver meat and the carp. I'm actually going to stick them in tuna cans, empty tuna cans, and then I'm going to refreeze them. So basically, they'll be stored then until I need them, and when I need them, I'll just pull them out. While they're setting out there, they'll unthaw, so it should be as fresh as I can keep it, basically. As soon as it unthaws, it'll be fresh, and that's when it'll be in the box. So, like I'll go set a box in the morning, and by that evening, hopefully it'll be somewhat unthawed. And like I said, that's as fresh as it's going to get. Also for my pocket sets, I'm going to lay some of this meat out on like a flat cookie sheet with like some wax paper on. And I'm going to kind of set them individually, cut them up to like 1-inch cubes, freeze them individually, and then when I go to make these sets, I can just grab one out. Instead of having like a bag of unthawed meat, I'm hopefully going to have like more like frozen cubes of meat. And like I said, I'm going to throw those in the back of my pocket sets as well. I plan on using a little bit of fish oil around my pocket sets, good squirt in the back. maybe a little bit of mink lure depending on the set. We're gonna kind of play around a little with that this season as well. So mink is gonna be my number one focus. Kind of two things there. One, it's my challenge for the year. My challenge, I feel like I could catch coyotes, I can catch fox, coons, muskrats. I've never really tried to catch too many mink. Obviously there's a fair amount around. If I caught 6 of them last year and really wasn't trying, so we're gonna. I'd like to catch maybe 5 mink. If I catch any more than that, I think that'll be a bonus. I'd love to set a personal best. But last year I caught 6 was my best. Hopefully this year maybe I could even beat that. Again, my goal, if I could catch 5, I'd be ecstatic. Honestly, in some of these sets, like you seen last year, I couldn't catch one in a mink box. So if I could catch one in a mink box, I'd be ecstatic about that. Water trapping in general is going to be very tough for me this year. We had quite a bit of rain this spring, but basically half of the summer from middle of July on, we haven't hardly had any rain. So the sloughs that have had decent water, some of them are starting to dry up. Within even the last couple of weeks, they've went completely dry. So the number of sloughs I'm going to actually be able to muskrat trap is going to be very limited, and I think the numbers are going to be very limited this year. I had a goal of 100 last year. If I could catch even half of that this year, I'd be happy. I have my goal set at 75, but like I said, if I could catch even 50, I'd be pretty happy with that. One thing, the weather's been cold here. Like today, the high was only 37 degrees here. So, and it's been like that for the last few days. So that might limit the amount of open water trapping I actually can do this year. There have been seasons where I have not done any open water trapping. So hopefully that doesn't happen to me this year, but that is a possibility. Beaver numbers are, down. I have a couple places in mind where there may be some beaver to trap. Again, might catch 1 or 2. I'd be happy with that. I'll love to catch an otter again if I can find where the otters are using a beaver house or something like that. I'll try and go after them. Fox and coyotes. So I figured out that last year you guys had seen I caught 16 fox and only 18 coyotes. But you figure that out, that's 34 dogs, canines. That's about average for me for quite a few seasons. 2 seasons ago, the first season I videotaped for you guys, I ended up catching quite a few more coyotes than I ever have. I caught 15 coyotes more than I ever had in a season before that. So I don't expect that. So together, if I can get around that 35, maybe even 40, I think I would call that a successful season. I'm hoping that that's like maybe 20 coyotes and 10 fox would get me to 30, or 25 coyotes, 10 fox, something like that would be 35. I'd be happy with that. I'd like to keep under 10 fox. I think if I start catching fox, I'm going to have the struggle again this year, whether I want to, start releasing a few of them, but, we'll see how the season goes and how many I start catching. I don't know. I feel like if I catch a fair amount of fox this season, that kind of means that I didn't really hurt them too bad last year by catching that many. A lot of the farmers have been telling me they've been seeing a lot of fox, especially early on this spring and stuff. They were seeing a lot of fox. Now I've had quite a few farmers are telling me there's quite a few coyotes around. So I think it's kind of went both ways. This spring there was a lot of fox. Supposedly, people seeing them running around. Now people are saying they're hearing coyotes and seeing coyotes running around. So that could kind of mean it could be pretty balanced, or it might tip towards the coyotes direction a little bit just because, the coyotes will kill the fox and stuff. So, like I said, canines, I'm looking maybe in that 35, 40 range. Pretty much everything else, skunks, raccoons. I imagine I'm going to be probably in the 30s for skunks again this year. I don't typically straight up target skunks, as you guys have seen. I target, coyotes, raccoons, that type of stuff, and I catch incidental skunks. If, 30 skunks, I'd be okay with that. The essence worth a fair amount. The fur seems to be worth a decent amount right now, so I'd be okay with that. One of my goals this season, again, is, to kind of target mink. The second goal, I'd love to do my local Grand Slam again, like I did last year, which is what I'm calling catching every species that's legal to trap in my area. I'd love to do that again this season. So we'll see. The otter is going to be the tough one there. I did build some more weasel boxes, so I mean, realistically, honestly, I kind of have an internal goal. I'd love to catch like 5 weasels in a season. I'm gonna try and be a little more particular as to where I put my sets, with the idea that I don't want to trap all the weasels out of one particular area. So, like last season and the season before, I caught 6 weasels in 2 spots essentially. I may not set those spots right away. I may put my boxes in other locations first, with the idea that maybe I could catch a weasel somewhere else and maybe leave those spots for a season here, where kind of let them repopulate. Again, I don't know how big of a population of weasels are around. So again, I kind of have a little bit more of a focus on weasel this year than I ever have. Again, they're not worth the things I kind of want to focus on are the things that are worth the least, I guess. But um, so yeah, I guess I don't really have too much else for you. Kind of the same goals always are true. That um, number one thing for me is don't catch myself in a trap. You know, that happens every year, but I do try not to catch myself. You'll get a jumpy coyote trap when you're, spreading your peat moss on it or spreading dirt trying to level it off. It'll snap you. Last year it only happened one time in a coyote set, but I did catch myself in a couple muskrat traps. So try to keep it to a minimum, but my goal is to not have that happen at all this season, which is my goal every season, honestly, and it should be all of our goals going into the season. We shouldn't be catching ourselves, we should be catching animals. Second goal is just to keep dry. I paid quite a bit for a set of waders last season, and they kept me dry all season. And I'm kind of hoping that I've been duck hunting with them this season. They've been working out good for me, so I'm kind of hoping they can get me through the season here to keep me dry. So I don't want to be patching waders in the middle of the season, that type of stuff. Yeah, I guess the only other thing I really have is just things are going good with farming down there. There's a lot of crops coming off. So in the next 10 days, they need to finish up corn. They're maybe a quarter of the way done with corn around my area. So our area is basically soybeans and corn. All the soybeans are off right now, but none of that land has been worked. The corn, like I said, they basically move straight into corn in my area. So they're combining corn heavy as fast as they can get it off right now. And they're about a quarter of the way done. So I'm hoping, like I said, in basically the next 10 days that some of these guys can finish up the corn and move into tillage, because I need the tillage done in order to put coyote sets and some raccoon sets and that type of stuff. I don't want my sets worked under, so I have a very hard time putting them along a field that's not worked unless I've talked to the farmer and he lets me know that he's not going to work those fields. So the season could get off to just a little bit. I'm foreseeing some areas I may not be able to get into right away. Again, it just kind of depends on when some of the field work and some of the crops get off some of these fields. It's been very, very dry in my area, and I'm not seeing any amount of real precipitation in the forecast here. So things will be dry. I should be able to drive anywhere I want to go this season. I mean, we might get some rain and stuff during the season a little bit, but I still should be able to get sets out, drive right up to them like a typical year. So I'm kind of forecasting, I could see me getting maybe even 25% more traps out than I had, coyote traps in particular, out than last year. And again, so hopefully that should help my numbers just a little bit for like the canines. Again, I catch skunks and raccoons as incidentals in those sets, so it could help my overall fur catch just because I can get that many more sets out, because I can drive to these areas to actually get sets in. I have a pretty good line already kind of mapped out. We're still kind of working on the final details, trying to get a little bit of permission on a few places still. And I've actually added a couple places to my line this year, so kind of excited to see what those do for me. All right, I rambled on way longer than I wanted to here. Just want to thank you guys for watching these videos. Stay tuned, actual catch videos. So I'm going to start filming 10 days from now, and I'm going to film through my roughly 30 to 35 day season. I'm not even sure. I should count up how many days it's going to be this year. There'll be basically hopefully a video for every day showing you the catches I make. I'm going to try and be a little better this season about showing you guys the locations I'm in, the reason why I'm there, get a little bit more into that. Last season, I feel like I got away from that a little bit, and I apologize for that. We're going to try and do a better job. Muskrats, it's kind of tough to show you, but I'm going to try and show you a little better, like the Sues and stuff I'm trapping. But in particular, when I make catches on some of these sets, I'm going to try and make sure I'm showing you the locations and explaining a little bit better as to why I'm putting my sets where they are. I know that's a big thing for everybody. The location is key on catching animals, especially canines. So I'm going to try and explain a little better why I put my sets where I have them. So that, again, that's kind of a goal. So the catch videos may be a touch longer this year because, like I said, hopefully I'm going to give you a little more than just catches. I'm hopefully going to give you a little bit of an education along with them. I'm going to try and be a little better at showing you making, not necessarily making a set, but like beaver sets in particular, kind of what I'm looking for when I'm making sets. If I drive up to maybe a coyote set location before I make a set, I may do a little video just kind of showing you why I'm setting where I am. That's even before I have catches, but try and show you a little bit of that as I'm adding sets, what I'm looking for, that type of stuff. Even, muskrat, mink, raccoon, all those things, try to be a little better at showing you why I'm setting sets where I am. Some of them never make catches. One year I could catch 3 or 4 animals in a set, and the next year's set in the same location won't catch any. So some of these sets you may not have seen because I haven't made catches in them, but there is a reason why I put them there, because have history with those locations and I've made catches there. So I'm going to try and be a little better at that. Catch videos that will be coming out roughly around New Year's is my hope. I'll be done trapping by then, actually running my line, the day-to-day line, and I should have some time to get videos edited and up for you guys. And, to be usually I try to do 2 a week, and they'll run through probably about May-ish. We'll kind of see how the season goes and how long I can keep my sets working and that type of stuff. All right, that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching Schmattz Outdoors. Stay tuned for a few more how-to videos between now and the end of the year. Otherwise, full traps out there, guys. Let's pile up the fur.